Alright, what's up everyone? It's Alex here from Guys Playing Games, and today I'm bringing you guys a redstone tutorial. This is something I like to call a mob spawner. So, in the world, there are natural mob spawners, which are like in caves and dungeons and stuff, where it just spawns one type of enemy. But let's say you want to face the Ender Dragon or something, and you need the XP. The easiest way to do that is by constantly mining, going in and fighting mobs, and most of the time it ends up dying. So what I'm going to show you guys today is an easy way to build a mob spawner that you can farm endlessly and pretty much level up to level 30 in less than 5 minutes. So here we go. First up, you're going to need almost an entire thing of cobblestone, entire 2 chests of cobblestone. That we have some ladders here, and this is because if you're playing on a regular world, like obviously I'm on a super flat world right now, mobs are going to spawn underground, above ground, everything. And unless you want to take the time to dig all the way down to bedrock and make sure there's no mobs spawning within like a 50 block area, then yeah, I would suggest what we're going to do is build it up in the sky, away from everything. So that's what these 2 stacks of dirt come in. Now dirt's pretty easy to get, so pretty much this is just going to be the tower that we're going to build that goes straight up to the air. And then lastly, we're going to need these trapdoors. I'll get to the trapdoors when we get to that part, and those are one of the last things we put on. And then torches, you just want to make sure that the spot that you're actually standing on doesn't have mobs spawning on it. So that's what those are for. Alright, so let's get started. So you're going to want to build about 150 or 100 to 150 blocks of the ground. So now it's easiest to get a map out and check how many blocks you are above bedrock. So let's see, we're about 60, 66, 65 above. So that's where you want your 100 to 150 to be. I'm going to go for about 125 here because the building limit's way higher now. Alright, so there we go. We're about 100 above bedrock. So it's easier if you do this with a friend because they can come up behind you and start putting down the ladders. Obviously it's easier because I'm in creative mode right now, but you get the point. Now this may seem pretty high, and you can build it shorter if you want, but this is just because I've built a lot of these, and I found that building it higher up is better because sometimes it's the farthest point away from any mobs you can get. Alright, so another thing that you're going to want to have handy on you is some water. And it's good to make like an infinity pool here at the bottom, just in case you need to jump in, but it's also really good to have one at the top. Most of mine that I've built, I build over top of, like, water. That way, if I do fall, I can aim and I have time to hit the water. So I'm just gonna, like, give a brief example. Now, back all the way up to the top, which sometimes can be the worst part about this, how high up it is. And you're gonna want to build a platform. It doesn't really matter how big you're gonna make this part, but this is just the platform you're standing on. So you want to build it, I would say maybe about like a 7x7, 8x8. That's a good starting one. So right here what we have is we just have a little platform. Maybe you want to put like a chest, crafting bench, furnace, just in case you need. It's better to transport all your stuff up here than having to keep trekking all the way down that long path right there. But this is just like some walking room. But in the center, you're gonna want to build this kind of like 2x2 square thing and build it up 2. And what this is gonna be is you're gonna build some pistons, and the pistons are gonna stop the mobs from falling and dying. But it'll lower them to about 1 health. And what the pistons will do is when they're raised, it'll lower them to 1 health, so 1 punch kills them if you just want the XP and their loot. But let's say you're all the way down there farming something, and you come back up here and there's just a million of them because you can't really stop the thing. You can flip the switch and the pistons lower. That way they die on impact. When you come back, you're left to a nice little reward up here of maybe some like gold chest pieces from some zombies that dropped, or some gunpowder. Anything you need that a mob can drop will be up here. And what we're going to do is, on either side of any of this, we're going to just go around in cobblestone. Oops. Up. and you're gonna build this up like 23. Okay, so what we have here now is I think it's gonna they're gonna fall down. And actually, I probably built this platform one too high, so I'm just gonna extend it down here. And the reason is because you have to be able to dig down just enough to put the pistons in the floor. Now, of course, I'm building this on creative, and you can use whatever materials you want in creative, but kind of the point of this is survival. Then I would just say cobblestone and dirt are the easiest, most accessible materials. And let's just test to make sure that this is the right height right now. So let's get zombie A. Just boop. Drop it down. And depending on the difficulty is how much health they have. So that on hard it was 2 hits, normal it's 1, and easy I think is still 1, 2. Peaceful, of course, they won't spawn. So there we go, that's what's going to happen. And now what's going to happen is we're going to have to build out 9. Alright, so now that we have all of those built out 9, this one looks a little long, but the reason it's 9 is because we need to know how much the water is going to flow, so that's what's going to next. So then you're going to put kind of an edge around all of this. And these are like the trenches that the water is going to flow in. So you're going to build these walls up really high. And then we're going to make multiple floors. The more floors that you have in this thing, the more monsters will spawn. But too many will overcrowd the system and some of them might die up top. I know I've had that happen to me a few times, so it's best if we do about 3 floors that they can walk off and survive, and what the water does is it's going to push them into this channel where they're going to fall. So let's make sure this is the right length, so we're going to put our 2 water there. Oh, this one must be a little too long. So that's easy fix. Just a block in, and there we go. The 9 long includes that back wall, which is what I made the mistake of. So we're going to put that on, so you're going to have an 8 long path the water's going to flow down. That is still too long. I must have made that one like 10. You know, sometimes you just can't count, and I wouldn't count that against me. You know, sometimes I'm bad at math. Alright, so there we go. There's all of our water flowing down. So now, if I show you, let's just say there's a floor up here, and a monster walks into it. There we go. The zombie's gonna go, and he's gonna fall down. But this is just one zombie, and that's how long it takes for him. Yeah, and he dies. And what you're gonna need to do after this is you're gonna have to pull out. There is it. You're gonna need a sign and some vines. And what you're gonna have to do, you gotta place the vines on either side. So we put the vines in here, and what the vines are going to do is it kind of act like a ladder, so that way they're still getting pushed off constantly, but it kind of gives them that extra boost so that way they don't die on impact. See, and there we go, there's that. And we saw without the vines that they did die. And then the signs just make sure that the vines don't go down all the way to the bottom, or else they wouldn't have any fall damage. So this works for all of them, because I know by just putting it on the top layer, oh, there's yeah, you might find that armored zombies have a little bit more resistance when they fall, but that's it. So on to the next step. Now we have this kind of like T-shaped plus sign with the hole in the middle, and mobs don't spawn on water, and this is too small a pet for them to spawn on. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a big square out of this. So speed this up. Alright, so now we have the bottom floor built. What comes next is we're going to build the walls. And so we're going to go around the perimeter of this, all the way around, about 3 to 4 up. That way you have a little headroom so that they can spawn. But right now, I would suggest if you're going to be working up here and if you put the roof onto it early, then mobs will spawn. So like, you just take some torches, just place them down around here. So now's up for the wall. Pretty much all you're going to be needing from now is cobblestone. So maybe a better and helpful tip if at the bottom of this hole for right now you have, let's say, your water bucket, or like an infinity pool 2 deep, so you can jump in and survive and then walk out, or just build ladders up to the sides. But since we're in creative, we don't need that right now. Also, you might want to bring some cobblestone up, because this is the point that just drains the cobblestone. So, let's build the wall real quick. Okay, now wasn't that fun? So, there we go, there's floor 1 done. And like I said, we're going to build about 3 floors to this. So, I'll show you how to build the next floor, and then we'll just speed through, because this is just going to get repetitive afterwards. So you're always going to leave these 2 blocks open all the way down. So anywhere there is water, you're not going to cover with a floor. Alright, so there's that floor built. And like you might have seen me do, I pulled out a Potion of Swiftness. And if you're building this on creative, it's always a good idea to build with a Potion of Swiftness, just because it even moves up your, or improves your speed boost at in creative mode. That can be helpful when all you're doing is making walls like I'm going to be doing now, so that we can make the 3rd floor. Alright, so there we go. There's the wall for the 2nd floor done, and now we're on to the 3rd floor, which is just going to be the same thing as the 2nd and the 1st floor. And there you have it. There's the 3 floors built. And lastly, what we got to build is the quote-unquote 4th floor, which is just an up 3 more blocks and then a ceiling over top. So this is the part where those torches that you've been placing on all the layers hopefully helps so that the monsters don't spawn in as you're trying to finish the final step. So finally, the light. Cover this entire top, well, not the entire, but just like a majority of this. Let's just place some torches around randomly on the top of this, because this is a flat surface, and at night monsters and mobs will spawn up top here. So just, it doesn't really matter, just enough torches to light up a majority of this. Make sure that no mobs spawn there. Alright, so there we go. There's pretty much the basics of the outside. Now here comes the part that's really important, the inside. So what you're going to need for this part is, this is where the trapdoors come into play. Alright, so on all of these edges right here, you're going to place trapdoors, so that when they fold up, they're flat with the bottom. This makes the mobs believe that they can walk across this gap right here, so that way they fall into the water. I'm going to drink a potion of night vision right now, so that way it's not incredibly dark in here. There we go. Alright. Nope, not that. Man, I think my potion of swiftness ran out. Even though we built really high up, sometimes it may be like, oh, that mob there, right on the ground, this one and only mob is what's making sure that nothing spawns. So, just like, go around and make sure the floor, even though it's good. There we go. Look at mobs are spawning. One thing you want to make sure is that sometimes you want to make this bottom part slabs, as because the creepers, if they see you, they will blow up. Spiders can be kind of jerks in this aspect because they stick to the walls. See, I would say that's a pretty fast amount that they're spawning. And then just one punch kills them, and there you go, you're getting all your XP. And this is daytime too, even though I have potion of night vision. The sun is directly above us. This is the middle of the day. Mobs are spawning. So let's say you want them to die. thanks for watching, everybody, and if you like this video, just press the like and subscribe button to catch up on all of our other videos that we have. If you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, then please put in the comments that you would like me to do more redstone tutorials, because I know quite a bit about it.